Happy Sunday, or as I should probably say, happy Aston Villa make a double transfer in the last 2 days of the window day, which is it's going to catch on now, unless you've been living under a rock, in which case, how do you have internet and how are you watching this video? You'll know that Aston Villa have sold John Duran to Al Nassr in a deal that's worth about £65 million, and we have also loaned Emi Buendia out to Bayer Leverkusen for the rest of the season. They also have a, I think, £20 million option to buy him at the end of this season as well. So we are down 2 players, and Ollie Watkins came off injured against Wolves as well. So we're in a little bit of a tricky spot for attackers. Now, defenders, I think that's probably going to be a transfer deadline day deal, but we have used both of our loans. You're allowed 2 loans throughout the course of the season for 2 short-term loans for 2 attackers. That's right, we're going to be talking about the fact that Aston Villa have signed Marcos Asensio from PSG. That's just a straight loan, no option to buy. And the big one, really, Marcus Rashford from Manchester United with an option to buy of around 40 million, I believe is the reported figure, in the summer. Can we turn these 2 players' seasons around? Emery might be the manager to do it, but also you guys have been going absolutely crazy. I mean, look how many subscribers we're on. How on earth have you lot managed to do that? But if you are enjoying the Aston Villa content, be sure to leave a like, smash that subscribe button so we continue our trajectory towards 5,000 subscribers by the end of this season. There's going to be loads of Aston Villa content coming once the transfer window is over. Live streams, match reactions, match watch-alongs, you name it, we're going to be doing it if it does involve Aston Villa. But today we need to talk about our 2 new attackers. Who are they? I mean, we all know who Marcus Rashford is, let's be honest here. How are they going to fit into this team? Where are they going to play? And can Emery get the best out of Asensio and Rashford? First of all, obviously, we have to look at the stats. Now, I know that players are more than stats, guys. Stick around to the end of the video. We're going to be talking about these players in a lot more detail than the stats. But we have to look at this because stats in football, let's be honest, football is a stats-led thing. I mean, they even tell the players to stop running if they've run too much now. That's how much they look at stats. So Asensio, in my mind, I see as the replacement for Buendia, who has gone out on loan, of course, to Bayer Leverkusen, as you can see on the screen. So let's have a look at Asensio. Are we getting a good replacement? Now, calibre-wise, you can't get much better than 286 games for Real Madrid, 47 games for Paris Saint-Germain as well. Now, he does play actually primarily as a striker, and he's left-footed, so, I mean, is this the John Duran replacement? Who even knows? But obviously, we all know that with Asensio, he can play on the right, and he can play as that number 10. Now, that is where I think we've probably signed him to play a bit more, that number 10 role, possibly covering a few games as that split striker, because João Felix has probably said no to Emery for the 18,000th time. But he is about 6 foot tall, 29 years of age, so he really is in the prime of his career. And actually, although people have said obviously he's not really been at his best, I mean, you look at the amount of, look at how much he's playing right now. I mean, that's going back to the 15th of December. Since the 15th of December, he's played 7 minutes of football. That's the worry for me, right, with Asensio. Is he going to be able to come in and actually help Villa like that straight away? But when he has played this season, 12 games, 8 starts, 2 goals and 4 assists, so 6 goal involvements in just 620 minutes, an average rating of 7.34. It isn't actually too bad. It's just one of those things where he just seems to have fallen out of favour for PSG. If we go back here, you can see when he was playing, so back October, November time, 2 assists in that game there. We go back a little bit further in October, September, he's getting goals, he's getting assists. And when he was playing, he was actually not playing too bad at all. So if we look at his stats this season, and let's be fair, his per 90s are probably going to be a little bit more of an accurate reflection because he's not really getting that total game time, only 600 minutes. It's about similar to what John Duran had for Villa this season. But you'll see he's getting, 0.8 expected goals per 90. He's having about 4 shots per 90 minutes when he is getting that game time. His assist is right at the top end of League One for his position, averaging about an assist every other game. 90% pass accuracy, Emery's going to like that. I'm a big fan of the 23% cross accuracy. One thing I noticed in the Wolves game, without Matty Cash when Garcia was playing, he was just whipping balls into the box, and it was the most dangerous that we looked, and we're missing that, I think, in our team. 70% long ball accuracy is fine, it's passable. Completes about 60% of his dribbles as well. We like that. That's probably better than most of our wingers combined this season. And defensively, not afraid to get mucked in. That's a decent dual 1 percentage. If we actually look at how many tackles he's winning overall this season, it's not, a fantastic picture of him as a player. But then again, he's not being signed particularly to do that job for us, right? I mean, 4 assists this season puts him right at the top for his position, and again, he's barely playing. So if we compare that to Buendia this season in the Premier League, and I mean, he hasn't even played enough. He hasn't even played enough to get stats through this season in the Premier League. I mean, what's he played this season? 89 minutes in 12 games. So ultimately, would you think that Asensio is going to be an upgrade on the 89 minutes that Buendia's played this season? Probably, right? Probably. About the same age as well. So I'm happy with that one. Asensio, I do actually believe personally, is an upgrade from Emi Buendia. We are covering all of his wages, which is probably an astronomical amount, but I'll let the big wigs at Aston Villa, the financial bods, figure out the finances, because that is just so above my pay grade right now. So we move on to Marcus Rashford, and this is the big one, right? This is a risk, I think, and everyone thinks that's a risk. It's going to be a make or break, but I think that could actually play into Aston Villa's favour. I think Marcus Rashford knows at 27 years of age, if he wants to become a regular for England, if he wants to get his career back on track, if he loves football, which I am a little bit worried that perhaps he's fallen out of love with football, he knows that this loan is his chance, possibly securing a permanent move in the summer. I don't think that Almerim's ever going to let him back into that Manchester United squad. Even if Rashford uses us and helps us out this season as a springboard to get a mega transfer to a Barcelona, Real Madrid, etc. in the summer, hey, as long as he can get some goals and assists for Villa, you do what you want, Marcus. My son, now 27 years of age, in the prime of his career, primarily plays as a left winger. I mean, he spent his whole career at Manchester United, 426 games, 138 goals. This season in the Premier League, from 12 starts, he's actually got 5 goal involvements, right? 4 goals and an assist, 15 overall games. Played less than 1,000 minutes as well. So it's not terrible. We know that Rashford isn't at his best, right? That's it's common knowledge, isn't it? Let's be fair. But Emery has spoken to him on the phone or met him or something. There's been a meeting or a conversation between Rashford and Emery where he has said, this is the place for me. And Emery is well renowned for getting players back to their best, right? And he's going to have to work. Rashford is going to have to work. There is no doubt about that. His natural talent isn't going to be enough to get him into this team because Emery, I think, personally, I mean, we've seen it with John Duran being sold. He was concerned about his ability to stick to Emery's game plan and stick to the task at hand. Emery, I think he rates that over natural talent, to be honest. We saw it when Rodgers came in. All the talent in the world. He said, no, you're still a championship player. You have to play the way that I want you to play. And now look at him. So we go down this season again. His stats aren't fantastic. I don't think the per 90s are much better for him. We know he's a player out of form, right? We know he's a player out of form. You compare it to John Duran here again. That's really sad to see that he has gone to Al Nassr. What is he doing with his career? But, you know, even John Duran, the stats are relatively the same. They're kind of a similar style of player where they're a wild card. They're either going to be up here or all the way down here. There really isn't much of an in-between with them. But this is what you get with Rashford. The thing that he has that John Duran doesn't is the pedigree. We go back, I think, it was this season, 17 goals, 5 assists, 54 successful dribbles, got back and got mucked in on the defensive side of things as well. We know that Rashford can do that, and that's the one thing that, again, I mean, John Duran hasn't had the opportunity to do that in his career, right? Because he has never got those 90 minutes consistently over and over and over again. But we've seen Rashford do it. We know that he can do it. But how does it work with the team? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up the interactive tactical whiteboard, and I'm getting my managerial mode on right now. On the screen now, you have what is, for my money, with everyone fit in our squad, our best starting 11 right now. Now, we need to sort out this because we have zero cover, really. Powell, you've got Mings, who is a walk-in time bomb, let's be fair, with his knees. Konsa has zero backup right now. Literally zero backup right now. It is quite scary, to be fair, because if he gets injured, I genuinely don't know what we do. Cash has Garcia. I think Nedeljkovic came on against Wolves and looked really good. I'm surprised that we're loaning him out because I actually really like him as a player. So we've got a little bit of backup there. Again, Cash, Garcia, are they good enough? It's a question for another video. And then Digne has Maatsen as his backup. Digne's form has slightly fallen off now. So actually, to be fair, I could see that happening, right? And that's a much more of an attacking option there, which makes me think that maybe Digne might be kept in because we're going to get onto that a little bit later. But those two, you're not getting him out of the team as a central defensive midfielder. Perhaps as a centre-back, yes, we don't want him there. He's a right-footed centre-mid playing left centre-back. You know, you can't expect miracles for him. Onana, again, it's been a bit up and down for him this season. I'm not even mad at that, right, if we need to do it. So where do these new boys fit in, right? Now, Watkins is going to be our striker. I don't think Asensio or Rashford have been signed to be a starting striker. Now, Asensio, again, really you're looking at those two positions, or Donyell Malen / Leon Bailey's position. Now, Leon Bailey, there's some transfer speculation around him possibly going to Manchester United in a separate deal than the Marcus Rashford loan. That's an interesting one. We'll watch how that develops on transfer deadline day tomorrow. But I think Malen will hold that right sort of wing slot down. I do worry about having such an offensive right back behind Malen because I'm unsure of his ability to track back. But again, that's one for Emery to figure out, not me. So where does Asensio fit into this, right? Are you going to do that? Clearly not. I think Rodgers is probably one of the most untouchable people alongside Kamara, Konsa in this team. I'm not even putting Martinez in it right now because I think he's having an absolutely woeful season. Again, we don't have a number 2 that's good enough to replace him. You're not going to put Robin Olsen in there, but Martinez, I think we could actually benefit from signing a proper number 2 goalkeeper because he is way too comfy right now. So Watkins, do you take Watkins out and do that? A player who's not particularly known for being a number 9 striker? I don't think you do. So I think actually, I mean, can I add another person? I can't even add another person into this, but I think Asensio actually might be signed to do the Emi Buendia role on the bench, but perhaps just get a little bit more game time than Buendia. And again, to have that level of calibre coming off of the bench as an option, it's a great thing. Now, here's the position that I think is going to change. I think we are going to see that front 4 this season. Now, Jacob Ramsey hasn't particularly done anything wrong. Again, we have Emery's obsession to start John McGinn, even though I don't think he's actually been that great this season. But I think that front 4 could be your front 4 going into the final run-in of this season, and that's a huge plus because Jacob Ramsey is a ball carrier, and to bring someone like Ramsey on 60th, 65th, 70th minute, perhaps even for the likes of Malen, and you just push maybe Rodgers out to the right for 20 minutes, perhaps you do bring McGinn on, perhaps you bring Bailey on for Rodgers, you swip them around, and then Asensio comes in because Rodgers is playing a lot of minutes right now. I think that's probably the way that it's going to work. Begs the question, and I want your comments down below whilst you're subscribing down there, obviously. Do you think that these are 2 good signings, right? Is Rashford an upgrade on Duran? That's probably the most contemporaneous, that's not the right word, controversial one, I guess. I'm not sure. Pedigree-wise and overall career-wise, Rashford is 10 times the player that Duran is, but we know how Duran can play, we know his potential, and we know where Rashford is in his career right now, and it's a very, very low point. But again, you wouldn't be against Emery getting the best out of him. And that's the thing, that it's a risk, right? Asensio for me is way less of a risk. It's a straight loan. There's no obligation or option to buy. We're bringing him in to cover a void that Buendia has left. I'm hoping for Buendia's sake, because I don't think he's getting back into this Villa team. I'm hoping he does well at Leverkusen and they do pay us the £20 million option, because that's a great deal for Villa. I think that's personally a great deal for Villa. I think that's personally a great deal for Emi Buendia, and then in the summer we can go and look to strengthen in that role. You've also got what's his name, Alaba, I can't pronounce his name, Jimmo from the under-21s coming through. Perhaps it's his season next season to step up into the first team, so that one's less of a risk. Rashford is a risk, but again, 2 huge signings. Is this going to get our season back on track? Absolutely not. We need some defenders, we all know that, and that's our 2 loans gone now. Kevin Danzo's gone to Spurs. Disasi can't be a loan option now. It can't be a loan. We've used our 2 loans, so we're going to have to buy a centre-back. That's going to be very exciting to watch tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys some live coverage tomorrow as well, because I've got the transfer deadline day a little bit mixed up in my last video. But let me know down below. Buendia and Duran out, Asensio and Rashford in. What are you thinking, villains?